The question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Monday night. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and TikTok. It is episode 98 of the Throwdown. And tonight we are throwing down with Covington, Georgia-based pro wrestler Jay Shaw. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing all right. Doing great.
Awesome. For those of you that are watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started, Jay, with the first and most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling, sir?
Well, if I can remember right, it's probably around 2019, 2020. It's about, I think about 2019 when I started.
Got you. So who trained you?
Well, that's a good question. It's actually a different name of people. And Angel Death Azrael from Landmark Arena. Trained with him for a little bit. Skrilla the Great, trained with him once at the time KLT in Rome. And now on Thursday nights I train at Platinum Championship Wrestling with Narcissism. That's who I train with now every Thursday night. So basically who I train.
Gotcha. Something this is actually a comparatively new question. A recent guest of mine sort of gave me this question, and it's kind of a challenge. But try to sum up your wrestling persona in 5 words.
In 5 words. That is a challenge. Let's see. Persecution. Resilient. Let's do. Scary at times. Vigilant, and I'll just throw simple in there.
Okay, fair enough. So I had told you that we do the speed round game, and what that is, just to refresh you, I've got a list of 10 names here. Periodically, I'll stop and I'll say speed round. I'll name a name, and you just tell me what pops into your head when I name the name.
Yes,
so, speed round. Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman, the wise man. Um, good guy, in my opinion. Just the everyday. It's like he's kind of like me in a way, but only reason why I say that is I tell it like it is. I'm straightforward. If you don't like it, oh well. And that's pretty much what Paul Heyman is. He's a straightforward guy, and that's why I look at him sometimes. Be like, me and him are in the same in a way.
Gotcha. So, I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of this stuff probably the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
As far as I can remember, I remember 3, 4 years old sitting on my papa's lap in his recliner watching the Attitude Era. And
Mm-hmm.
the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest stage of wrestling ever.
Oh yeah, it's definitely right up there, man. I've been a fan since I was around 11, and I'm 55 now. So I mean, I grew up in the territory days, and got to see the Monday Night Wars start to finish as an adult, and saw the rise and fall of ECW, all that good stuff, man. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, being a fan of this stuff for 40 plus years. But
Mm.
so, what is your earliest wrestling related memory? What's the earliest thing you can remember? You can distinctly remember watching.
My earliest memory was this is when I actually became a big Undertaker fan.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 1998, 99 when he started the Ministry of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I thought when he used to hang people on the crucifix and hang them up in the air, I'm like, this guy's freaking awesome. But that's honestly my earliest memory of wrestling is seeing him with all his guys just come out and just do all that stuff that he did, and I'm like, wow, these people are crazy.
Yeah.
But that was my earliest memory when that happened. Matter of fact, I think it was when I don't know if it was when it was with Stephanie McMahon or when it was Stone Cold that he done it on, but it was one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what does your family think about your being a wrestler? How does your family like all of this?
Well, that's a good question, and to be honest with you, my wife is the only one that supports me in this. Is my mom? She'll watch it on TV, but she's like, my son doing that. I can't. I don't like my family don't like me doing it because they don't want me to get hurt or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I'm fine. I've been telling y'all ever since I was little. One day I'm gonna do this, and now I'm here. But I have my wife and my little girl. They come to almost every show I go to, and that's good enough for me.
That's awesome. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Matter of fact, I was just went to the Atlanta race a couple weeks ago, and every year I try to plan 4 races to go to, and luckily Atlanta has 2 of those, so I ain't gotta go too far. But the other 2 races I got planned this year are Talladega, Alabama. I got
Mm-hmm.
one coming up in April, and the other one's in October. So I'm a big NASCAR fan. And my second thing is I don't do it a lot now because I wrestle on weekends mostly. Is I'm too old to play baseball now because I used to play baseball in high school. But I play slow pitch, 1 pitch softball. Just when some buddies of mine get together, we go put a team in and just play, have fun. But yeah, those are my two hobbies that I have. Well, NASCAR is my main one, but softball's there every now and then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, as I don't really follow NASCAR, but as far as NASCAR goes, who's your driver?
I have my main driver, but I have three favorites. My main driver is Chase Elliott. I gotta go with Georgia. Number 9, Chase Elliott. But you can also throw Christopher Bell, number 20, or you can throw Mark. Well, he retired last year, Mark Truex Jr. And then my last one is number 24, William Byron. Because growing up, I was a big Jeff Gordon fan, number 24, the Rainbow Warrior car that he always drove. And now William Byron's in this place. He just stuck to me when Jordan retired and Byron came in. So I guess those are my people. So yes,
Gotcha. Speed round. Joe Gacy.
Oh man, I ain't heard that name in a minute. Joe Gacy, lunatic, psycho.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Casting him as part of the Wyatt Six was brilliant. I mean, because he's perfect. I mean,
I 100% agree with you. Yes.
Absolutely. So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Outside of wrestling, I've always looked to my to actually he's my pastor. My pastor from my church. I look up to him a lot because one, just a little backstory on my life while you brought this up. Came from a rough childhood. My dad wasn't around, but my pastor was always there for me. And from then on, I looked up to him, and he's the type of guy that he stands strong on what he says he's going to do, and if anything bad comes up to him, he takes it head on. He's not the one to back off and be like, I can't do this. And that's the guy. That's the kind of man that I've grown up to be ever since following him. Is like there's nothing too big that I can't handle on my own, and I just look up to him mostly outside of wrestling. He's always been there for me, and if I ever need anybody to talk to, I can count on him. And but yeah, that's who I can trust in the outside of the wrestling world.
Awesome. So, so your hometown is Covington, Georgia. What would you say is your favorite thing about Covington?
Favorite thing about Covington? Well, I love Mexican food. And in Covington, there's like 6 Mexican restaurants I can choose from to go to. And that was just funny out there. But the real serious thing about the reason why I like Covington is it's a small town, and as much well known as my papa was when I was growing up, people around the area that's a lot older than me still know me from my papa, and like it's just like a cool thing where it's like almost everybody in the town knows you somehow.
Right.
It's like, see, it's not a problem for me to walk up to a stranger and talk, but in a sense to where almost anywhere I go, I can find someone that I know, and I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. there's a lot to be said for living in an area where where everybody knows everybody, but the downside to it is everybody is also in everybody else's business. And so there's two ways to look at it.
Right.
Like anything else, it's got its good and its bad.
Mm-hmm.
But so they say that the best wrestling persona is yourself turned up to 11. So tell us about in-ring Jay Shaw and compare and contrast him with everyday you.
Huh. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my so he just sent me an Instagram thing and he's watching. My friend Justin McCant. We talked for an hour and a half the other day about wrestling, and he actually asked the same question. I was kind of ironic that when you sent all the questions to me on the Instagram message, and he asked me like, "Well, how can we know the difference between the wrestler and the person?" I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna walk to the local Walmart, walk up and chop somebody. I'm more reserved and laid back as a person. I guess you could say I'm a outside of the ring. I'm an introvert and an extrovert together. Like there's people that I won't have a problem having conversations with, but there's sometimes where I want to be in the house, don't want to do nothing. But another difference is when I step through that curtain, every day Jay Shaw is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as soon as I hit that curtain, all my personal problems, all my work, whatever, I leave that behind for 15, 20 minutes in a match or whatever. And I go out there, put on the best show I can for the fans. And that's what I say difference between wrestler and personal me.
Gotcha. So, it's been a while, but if you can remember details, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? All that good stuff. Lay it on us.
So when I first started, I've been training for a little while, and I went to a friend of mine's birthday party and talking about wrestling and how I would like to get my foot in the door somewhere. And she was like, "Why don't you come to wrestling landmark?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I'll give it a shot." I messaged the booker and all, and she told me to come up. I'm like, "All right, cool. I got my first show under my belt." And I'm like, on the whole ride up there, I'm not gonna get a daggum thing. I'm just gonna go up there, meet everybody, just hang out the back. Now, mind you, I was so unprepared for my first match, and I went on Amazon and bought me some tights to wear, and I had a Nike cutoff shirt that I wore, and I brought with me just in case. One thing I was gonna get anything, and I walked in there and I met everybody, and my first match was against a guy named Big Andy. Um, they put me in a match with him, and we all know how it went. First match was squash,
Yeah.
out there, and I was never nervous before in my life until I got to the curtain to walk out, and I looked back at Andy. I said, "Bro, I'm nervous." Like I was shaking. He told me before I went out, I said, "Give you one piece of advice before you go out there. If you ever stop being nervous before you go wrestle, you can quit the business." I'm like, "Yes, sir." Went out there, did what I was supposed to do and got the job done. And I remember I took my first official bump in a match, and I thought I broke my arm because Big Andy's he's a little heavier set guy, great guy all in all, but he went and gave me a shoulder tackle, and mind you, I was still in the training phase at the time. When I took the shoulder tackle, I went to brace my arm to brace the fall. But luckily my hand slid to where I can take the back bump right. And so when I done that, we did the finish the match and walked in the back and walked in there and I was thinking, I'll ruin my shot. And as a matter of fact, I walked in there and they said, "You did great for your first match." And he said, "Well, keep on coming to training and we'll work on some things." And I did, and I got asked to come back more. And it's just first match went great in my opinion. But
Awesome.
yes, sir.
So we've heard about the first match. Now tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
My favorite match. Actually, my favorite match, this is why I told you earlier I'm going to bring him up. My favorite match was against
J. Alpha Miller.
Alpha Miller. If he watches it later, I'll go ahead and say it for him. USA, Mr. Teflon.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, great guy. Outside the ring, we're like this almost.
Yeah.
Great guy. But no, we had it was I forgot what it was, but we had it was at PCW actually. We we had a match, and in my opinion, I know some fans that I know say that they have their favorite matches of mine, but my favorite match was that night against J. Alpha Miller. We just went out there and beat the living daylights out of each other. And I told him, we've worked multiple times, and I told him, I said, I don't know what it is, Jay, but every time me and you work, the best of me comes out. And I try to do that every match I'm in, but it's for some reason, I don't know if we train together on Thursdays or what, but me and him, we work. It's like we've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite matches with him of all time. As of right now.
Well, when you've got somebody like that you've got amazing chemistry with, it's magic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and having somebody like that is a special thing. So, it's that is all good, man. So I know that everybody has them, but what would you say is your biggest in-ring pet peeve? What can an opponent or somebody that you're working with do that just really bugs you?
My biggest pet peeve. Actually, honestly, is when I know sometimes we forget spots in a match, but my biggest pet peeve is, for one, communication in the ring is key.
Right.
My whole thing is I tell everybody that I work, you talk to me, I'll talk to you. But there's sometimes when it's not happened lately, but I have had an accident where I was talking to the guy and he wasn't listening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest pet peeve is just not listening. Like, you communicate all day long, but if you don't listen, it's not gonna work.
Right.
So,
Speed round. Ray Phoenix.
one of the greatest high flyers of all time.
For sure, man. I am so excited for his WWE debut. I mean, because I mean, Penta has been killing it since he got there, and I'm just dying for those two to tear it up together, man.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I know that, there are sort of 2.5 ways to prepare for a match. You can either work it out with your opponent in the back, call it in the ring, or kind of do a hybrid of both. Do you have a preference?
I'm a little bit of both. Mainly if I call a match with someone and I normally do the finish. I normally call the finish of the match and the comeback, or the double down and the comeback. Other than that, I call it in the ring. Like,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's like, it's not hard to, you ain't got to sit in the back and call, hey, we're going to lock up, wrist lock, hammer lock, headlock takeover. You got to call all that. That's basic stuff that you already know.
Right.
And, but no, I normally call the finish and the comeback. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
It's such a funny question because my wife's friend that comes to the shows with her on Fridays says that I need to talk on the mic more. But in all reality, I cannot stand talking on the mic because since sometimes I go to say something or I'm in the back, I'm going to say this, I say this, I say this. I walk out there, I say nothing that I thought I was going to say. But no, I think I'll be great in the ring. Only due to the fact because I'm not I guess you can say in a way my character or my gimmick is not really a talker, as a fighter. I don't show up to talk. I show up to fight. So,
right.
But if the opportunity is there, I will say a few words, but not a lot. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, I was just looking over at the Instagram tab, and in the Instagram chat, 8101 Chloe said hello to you. So,
What's going on?
So, do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface?
If I had to book my own way to a show, I'll be heel all day long. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a face, but if you watch my matches, I'm very aggressive. And sometimes when the crowd is chanting my name, getting me fired up, they're behind me the whole match. I tune them out in a way. Not saying that I don't hear them, but I just picture myself better and as a heel than a face. My aggressive side comes out, and normally when you're a face, you'll be like, "Yeah, let's go, come on." I'm not that type of guy in the ring, but the crowd loves me, so that's the only thing I can say.
Gotcha. So, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences?
My in-ring work is actually a couple people. Like I said, my biggest memory of wrestling growing up was Undertaker. Um, I actually do his. I don't do his whole Snake Eyes Big Boot comeback, but I'll do the Snake Eyes and hit the rope. And this is where Bray Wyatt comes in. I'll do the Bray Wyatt crossbody. But now the Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. Um, I'm actually in training. I was talking to Naja that I want to start um, throwing some Kenny Omega stuff in there. Um,
Hmm.
that's just some of the people that influenced me in the ring and on the mic. Like I said, I'm a man of few words. I gotta go with Undertaker again. Um, I'm not. I'm not a. I'm not a. Yeah, I can say Undertaker in both ways, and then Kenny Omega and Bray Wyatt is my influences. So
Gotcha. Well, what of Kenny Omega's stuff are you wanting to start incorporating? Are you looking to do V triggers? Are you looking to do one winged angels? What are you thinking about?
I'm gonna let him keep the one winged angel because the Lord knows if I try and I'll hurt somebody. Now, since I'm more of a striker, I do the V trigger a lot.
Hmm.
And I forgot to throw Will Ospreay in there. I love Will Ospreay too.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I done it I done it a while back. I don't do it much anymore. I might if anybody's watching, it might be a good insight on what's coming. I used to do the elbow, the hidden blade.
Oh
I did
yeah.
that a while back. I might bring it back here for a couple, or might bring it back here for a few. See how it goes. Because my finisher now is the bro is I'm trying to find a name for my kick, but it's a Sheamus bro kick.
Hmm.
So people been giving me ideas on a name, but nah, the hidden blade is an awesome move for a guy like me being a striker. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that you can have watched it a million times and it just never really gets old, and there's always some little something you can pull from it.
Yes. And I'm probably gonna say his name again, and you just heard it, but um, WrestleMania 28 with Undertaker and Triple H, the Hell in a Cell match, end of an era.
Hmm.
Um, the only reason why that's my favorite match is one, it had three legends in the ring at one time: Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker. Two, the story they've had with Undertaker facing Shawn twice, retiring him, Undertaker facing Triple H twice. That's just the long time story they had. And the way the match went towards the end was just, to me, was like my God, like Shawn really about to win this thing for Triple H, but then Undertaker came out on top. But yeah, that's my favorite match of all time, really. I know people will say, "Oh, you're crazy," there's more matches than that, but that's, in my opinion, that's my favorite.
Gotcha. In your opinion, who is the best male wrestler in the world right now?
Kenny Omega.
Who is the best female wrestler in the world right now?
Tony Storm.
And who is the best tag team in the world right now?
Hmm. That is a very good question.
There's a lot of good ones. I mean,
there is. Are we talking Indy to or is
um,
there?
yeah, you know, in wrestling right now, who is the best tag team?
All right. I'm gonna have to go with. Wow. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. I can just say. I can be here all night saying tag teams.
Yeah,
But if I had to say one, and it might shock people, because I'm just gonna say the Hardy Boys.
yeah, yeah. That match they just had with Fraxium, man,
Oh,
that was a banger. I mean,
golly.
yeah, I mean the Hardys can still go. I
Yeah.
mean, so, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you love to share the ring with?
Oh, that's easy. I just talked to him. We had a show up in Royston at Nerd U for Nerd U Championship Wrestling. Hollywood Hunter James.
Mm-hmm.
That if I had a dream opponent now, it'd be him.
Gotcha.
Hollywood
Gotcha.
James. Because I was telling a buddy of mine, I'm at the point now where I want to test my limits for people.
Mm-hmm.
Because every day you can learn something new in this wrestling business. But
Oh, for sure.
I want to test what I know now and what I can know facing people that are up here. And Hollywood Hunter James, me and him are good friends outside the ring. I would like me and him to work somewhere one day.
Gotcha. Speed round. Sabu.
Oh snap! Sabu, crazy.
Yeah.
Taking all these bumps at the age he is, or he don't wrestle much anymore, but the age that he was,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yep.
Balls to the wall.
Absolutely. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you either won't do or you would rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
So my favorite move as a combo is right towards right is it actually you can go into the comeback with a double down. I'm gonna pop up forearm. I'll hit him back. They'll come to the ropes, come back, and I'll give my spin out spine buster. That's my favorite move that I like to do in the ring. Um, huh. The move that I would not like to take. Huh. Hmm. The Michinushi driver. The Michinogi driver. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks awful. I mean,
yeah.
you know, as a fan, a move that always gives me the shivers to watch is the vertebraker. I mean,
God.
that just looks like
Oh,
there's so many ways that could go bad. I mean,
yes.
but I'm a huge fan of the spine buster, man. Arn Anderson was the king of the spine buster,
Yes.
and Powerhouse Hobbs has a good one too.
Yep.
But man, nobody could do the spine buster like Arn Anderson.
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
Yep. So you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this applies. What hurts right now? Or should I maybe say what doesn't hurt?
Everything hurts.
Yeah.
No, really. My my back always hurts, and that's from wrestling training and my every day at work. It's part of life. You go to work 10-hour days, and you go to training, and you go to a show and do a match. It's just everything just hurts, But I wouldn't train for anything. I love the business, so I think it's worth it.
So, what is the most significant injury that you've suffered either wrestling or training?
So I hyperextended my knee. That's God forbid, and knock on wood. That's the only thing that I've had happen to me. And it happened when I went to throw a clothesline, and I went to step with it. And when I did, I stepped too far, and I guess we're all hot and sweaty in the ring, and my shoe or my boot hit the mat, and it slipped, and my hyperextended my knee. That's basically the worst thing I've had happen so far. Which I'm thankful.
Gotcha.
I don't want to wish any bad on them, but that's the worst thing that happened so far. So
Gotcha. Speed round. Darby Allin.
old Darby Allin. Funny story about Darby Allin. I've always said if 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 I could be any extreme wrestler, I want to be Darby Allin. But in one word, I could sum up Darby Allin, or in a phrase, I could say, never gives up.
Mm-mm. No, man. I mean, he's about to go climb Mount Everest.
Yes, he
I
is.
mean, and I wish him all the luck in the world, man, because people have died doing that. So,
I know. Yeah.
so hopefully that goes well for him.
Yep.
So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically independent wrestling?
It's going great. Because no matter where you're at, southeast, northeast, you hit that share button. You don't know how many people can see where you're working at, what you're doing.
Yep,
That share button is a big, big play in this wrestling business.
it is. It is. Absolutely. So, knowing everything that you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Wish I would have started doing this sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I started about 2019, 2020. So I would have been 20. No, I would have been, because I turned 30 this year. So I would have been 25, 26 at the time. No, I would have been, yeah. I just wish I would have, because when I graduated high school in 2015, I was going to go into training, to find me a training school and start doing this whole wrestling thing. But there was some things that came up, wasn't able to do it. But if I could go back and fix things at the time, I would have started right out of high school.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, before wrestling and such, did you have an athletic background? Did you play sports in high school or anything like that?
When I was in high school, I played football and baseball. with me being tall when I played football, I tried out to be a receiver, but where I went to high school, we were talented at receiving and all over, but they put me as the kicker, so I was just kicking field goals, kickoffs, and in baseball I played right field. So it sucked because when football season ended after the playoffs, and if we made the playoffs, I knew I was in trouble because the playoffs for high school was November, early December, but baseball workout started right after winter break in January, so I only had like a few weeks to rest until baseball. But no, that's what I played, and I was gonna do basketball. I was like, nah, I'm not a basketball player. So
Gotcha. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
yeah, first of all, before I even walk from the curtain, I I think J. Alpha Miller said the same thing I'm about to say, if I remember right. I I pray, give all the glory to God, because it's only Him that I can be able to do this show after show. Because with His protection, I go out there night after night and entertain the fans, and I just give the glory to Him. And I look at my ref is at night before he walks out, and I always tell, let's go to work. So that's what I try to do every time before I go out. So
Gotcha. Well, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And a recent guest of mine posed this question, and that is, if something happened to where you could no longer wrestle, but you wanted to stay in the business, what else within the wrestling business would you want to do?
that's a couple things. Become a manager,
Hmm.
um, or help with the booking committee. Um, as I was always told, God forbid if something ever happens to me or happens in general, there's always something you can fall back on in the wrestling business. You can be the music guy, run music, be the camera guy. There's just a bunch of things you can pick and choose from. So
Gotcha. And which fictional character would you say is closest to your wrestling persona?
oh geez. Um, I really don't know, honestly. I really don't. Um,
That's fine. That's fine. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to ask the next guest? And the question does not have to be particular to this person, but I can go ahead and let you know the next guest tomorrow night. I've got a female wrestler actually out of the Toronto area of Canada,
oh wow.
um, and her gimmick is that she is basically an escapee from the nursing home, but she wrestles, and her name is Bad Nanny.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, like I said, the question doesn't have to be particular to her, but is there a question that you would like to ask?
All right. First of all, that's a creative gimmick to come up with. Just I have a question. What is the pros and cons of wrestling up north Canada and do you travel? Do you come to the U.S. and wrestle some?
Well, I will definitely look forward to asking her that and finding out about that. So we're getting toward the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yes, I was actually waiting for this. It's actually a lot of, I know I got a lot of things coming up. This Friday night at PCW Arena, Quattro's Casa de Lucha. Forgive me, I cannot pronounce the name of the show. But the card is stacked. You got the Syndicate, J. Alpha Miller, Hakeem Young, and Jay Blaze. They're going to be there. Yours truly, I'll be there. If you're in the area, come on out. And then next Friday night is the Go Home show to Animal House, PCW show, one of the big shows of the year. And then Saturday, and next Saturday, 29th, is Georgia Championship Wrestling in Old Buckhead, Georgia. That's another stack card that I'll be there. Zach Buchanan, AJ Black will be there. Just a lot of big names will be there. And if y'all are in the area, any of these three shows, please, I beg you, come. It's well worth the money, and you won't regret it.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, Quattro was one of my early guests on here, man, and I love that man to death. He is just awesome.
He is awesome. Yes, very, very awesome.
So anyway, as far as what we've got going, tomorrow, the 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I've got episode 99 with, like I said, from Ontario, Canada. I've got Bad Nanny. And then this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 100. Man, it is amazing to me that I've had the privilege of doing 100 of these.
Yeah.
And for episode 100, I've got a guy named Mercury Yaden, who is the founder and owner of Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling out in Denver.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if Rocky Mountain Pro is on your radar, man, but they put out a weekly show on YouTube that is top notch. D'Lo Brown is the head trainer out there, and I believe Vince Russo does some of the creative work for Rocky Mountain Pro.
Okay.
But they've got some really good, a lot of good up and coming names. They've got Marty Casaus, who was Marty the Moth on Lucha Underground. Man, if you're not watching Rocky Mountain Pro, it is worth your time.
Okay.
For sure.
I'll look into
it. For those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And before we wrap this up, do you have any final words you'd like to say to the audience, Jay?
Thank you all for tuning in. If, like you said, if you go watch later, enjoy it. It's actually my first time telling my whole life journey in wrestling, which I appreciate the opportunity. Just rock on, and y'all stay safe out there.
Absolutely. You have any words for your buddy J. Alpha Miller?
Should I let the cat out of the bag now? Yeah, I will. J. Alpha Miller. If you see this now, if you're watching now, you see this later. This Friday night, CCL. You better be ready for a fight. That's all I'm gonna leave with you.
Strong words. Strong words. Well, hey, man, thank you for your time. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 with Bad Nanny. And in the meantime, everybody love each other, be good to each other, and let's keep throwing down.
Yes.